What is up, guys? Welcome back to Wrestling Crossroads. As always, I am one half your dynamic duo Twisted alongside Brother Pyro.
What up, what up, what up?
And we are recapping NXT Deadline. What did you think of the show overall?
Solid.
Solid?
Super solid. They definitely knew how to close out the year on a high note.
Yeah, and I know you were really worried about this being kind of their last one, too.
Yeah.
And how it,
it can be hit or miss. It can be hit or miss.
That's usually how the end of, the December ones usually are. It's a hit or it's a miss.
And this one was definitely a hit. I'm really happy they were able to deliver.
Mm-hmm. So, do you want to start us off?
All right, opening the show, much to my surprise, Dragon Lee versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio for the NXT North American Championship. Now, why they had two guys on the main roster fighting for an NXT title will never make sense to me because of all the ways you could have retconned or recapped or repositioned or whatever, called an audible. You decided, hey, here's another guy on the main roster. Here you go.
All right. I know, you're very upset about it.
Like, you couldn't have given me anybody on the NXT roster currently.
You couldn't have had another, Fatal 4-Way match for it.
Fatal 4-Way, I can give you a list of names right now that would have been very worthy.
Mm-hmm.
A Nathan Frazier comes to mind.
Definitely Nathan Frazier.
I'm just saying, a Nathan Frazier comes to mind. Like, bruh.
I agree.
Okay. My dude. Anyway, I really did enjoy this match. I enjoyed Ray being on commentary. It helped tell a lot of the story still going on with him and Dom.
I like that they don't necessarily push that into our face, but there's still little snippets like, oh, he didn't keep he still hasn't taken his eye off his dad.
This is still very much going on. We know you probably forgot about it.
But this is still going on.
But this is still a thing.
Yes.
They alluded to, I love that Ray did allude to the fact that Dom really hasn't had a lot of success without Judgment Day's help.
No, he has not.
Respect, though, because he has been a workhorse.
Yes.
And has improved a lot over the last couple years.
Over the last just a year in general, I would say.
Outside of Cody Rhodes, he's the only other person with at least 100 matches on the year.
Mm-hmm.
So, respect on him for that.
Definitely.
But you can definitely see the improvement in his in-ring style.
Yes, definitely.
Ultimately, great tribute to Lucha Libre in everything that they did.
Yes.
The spots were absolutely amazing.
There weren't a ton of high spots, but in Lucha Libre you usually have a ton. Theirs were more mellowed out because although Dom does participate in part of the Lucha Libre, you can see that he's still on that. I still need to get used to the high flying, and again, Dragon Lee's one that does really well with working with him.
Oh yeah, no, I think this was a good opponent for him. Again, my whole thing is didn't necessarily make sense.
Two men on the main roster fighting for an NXT title. Yeah.
Great match, loved it. Ultimately pulling out the win. Your new NXT North American champion, Dragon Lee. I think that told a little bit of a story in itself. Mm-hmm. Again, proving Dom can't get it done without Judgment Day.
Yes.
Because Judgment Day wasn't there, and he lost his title twice. Mm-hmm. Because the first time he lost it to Trick, Judgment Day was nowhere to be found.
Yes. I totally agree.
Great match, though. Loved it. I'm excited to see what happens from here. Mm-hmm. With Dragon Lee, with Dom.
I did see that Rhea did post a tweet afterwards with a picture of them.
She ain't very happy.
No, it says, am I happy? No. But am I proud of him because he's such a workhorse? Yes.
Yes, and
it wasn't like last time where she was like, oh no, you're getting this title back or don't bother coming home. It's, you did it. You did really good this year. I even looked it up during the match.
Flowers.
His first one was he did 77 days, and today was 66 days. That is pretty well.
What was that? That's...
You're the math guru, not me.
143 days?
roughly 143 days total as champion.
As champion between 2 reigns?
Yeah.
I'm not mad about that, at all, because it's not like you forgot about the title.
And it's not like
it's not like they played it down. Like, it was showcased very frequently with how often Judgment Day is on, your TV.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
It made your main... Like, anybody paying attention to Judgment Day on the main roster also paid attention to NXT because
just the title,
Dom had that title. And you wanted to see what was going to happen with it. Like, it really did notarize NXT for them. Mm-hmm. And I'm not the biggest fan of Dom, but I'm going to give him his flowers. I'm going to give respect
give
where
credit
it's
where
due.
credit is due.
Oh, and Dom definitely deserves a lot of credit, a lot of respect, a lot of flowers right now.
Yeah. All right, and your grade for this one?
I give it a B+.
All right.
Again, just the lack of story there really kind of killed the match for me. But again, they did well. They were
with
really
the lack
well.
of story between the two. They did a really good job at pulling what story they had between Ray and Dom into it, so that made.
They did really well with calling the audible.
Yes.
Bleh.
All right, now you got the word vomit. Good.
Thanks for giving it back. You could have kept it just a little bit longer.
Nah, I'm good.
But yeah, no, keeping up with that story, but also going out, giving last minute match, still able to perform.
Yeah, definitely beautiful.
Great.
Though.
Love it.
All right, jumping into our next match, we have the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. Tiffany Stratton, Fallon Henley, Lash Legend, Blair Davenport, and Kalani Jordan all fight for a chance to become number 1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship held by Lyra Valkyria. This started out with Fallon Henley and Blair Davenport, who at this point, entering the ring, they kind of seem to have a bit of issues between each other. There seems to be some kind of animosity there. I don't know particularly what it was or what's kind of going on backstage.
I think it's just one of those, this is my moment, not yours, like, you're standing in my way.
Okay. So, after that, our third person in was Tiffany Stratton, correct? Yep. And then ending out the women's match was Lash Legend, who came in and scored 2 falls right off the bat
Took her 70 seconds.
Took her 70 seconds to score 2 falls right off the bat. She stacked up to kind of a nod to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania a couple years back and scored 2 falls right off. And I believe that was the only second fall via person that we had in this match at the time. Pretty much chaos for what you would expect for a women's match. Pyro, you really liked this match going on.
I love this match.
You loved it?
I think it was a lot better executed than it was last year.
But you also said that was because last year was the first year that we had done this type of challenge, so you kind of saw it coming where this year was going to be a bit better than last year. All right. Pretty much picking up the win to the ending. I believe she scored 3 falls. Yeah. 3 falls to 2 on Lash Legend, 2 via Tiffany Stratton, 1 via Fallon Henley, and 0 to Kalani Jordan. Blair Davenport now gets to challenge Lyra Valkyria for the NXT Women's Championship we found out at New Year's Evil.
Yes.
So, good luck to her on that when that does come. And jumping into our next match.
Before we get into that.
Yes, I have to get a grade.
Well, the grade, A+. But one thing that really bothered me about this match, by one little...
Your one little tidbit of rant, yes.
Not tidbit of rant, but like my one little quirk.
Okay.
I guess, I don't know. Y'all couldn't give Kaylani 1 fall? Just one.
Yeah, we...
Just one.
We had that
I'm not
issue
saying,
when we were talking.
I have her win, but like...
At least 1 fall.
Y'all couldn't... Like, that is my one little...
I mean, she's a breakout star. Granted, she didn't win the breakout tournament, but she did amazing in the tournament.
Oh, yeah, no.
I believe, wasn't she in the last match for it?
I believe she came in first runner-up.
Yeah, so, you couldn't have given... This is her first big pay-per-view. You couldn't have given her at least a fall.
1 fall. I mean, she came in and it was lightning in a freaking bottle.
Yeah, definitely.
Almost
I mean, all these other women have at least been on or seen the main event.
They've all been there for a little while. So they really haven't, outside of Tiffany.
Well,
and
Tiffany's
Blair.
been there, and Fallon's been there.
She's never really been in the main event picture.
No, but she's been on pay-per-views is what I'm saying.
Yes, but your whole thing is, they've seen, the main event spotlight, which in reality, outside of
my
Tiffany
thing was
and
they haven't seen pay-per-views aside from the other women.
Yeah,
Kehlani, this is her first
Like I said,
one.
I'm thinking, they've been there for a while. I think you could have, given her that chance.
To at least pick up a fall.
Pick up at least one fall. I'm not saying
she has to
have to win the match, anything more than one fall I think would have been a little out of reach. Maybe 2 falls, like a lucky roll-up or whatever, but, y'all literally let her be the only one not to score a fall.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Tiffany came in, got 2 falls by the end of the match. Mm-hmm. Fallon had one by the time Kehlani or Lash came in.
She scored
the 2 almost immediately. Blair had
3 at the end.
2, winning it out with 3. At any point, y'all could have just...
Y'all could have given it to her.
Again, that's my little bit of tangent, because...
Yeah. No, we agreed on it when we were going through this. And you said this is an A+.
Yes, because absolutely, all 5 women showed up, showed out. Mm-hmm. One of my absolute favorite moment, Metaphor's interference, as the penalty box timer for Tiffany and Fallon, thank you. This is right after they got stacked by Lash and pinned. Right after that started, they're going at it in the box. Metaphor's kind of blocking the door. They're fighting each other to climb over.
Mm-hmm.
Fallon gets Tiffany pushes Fallon off the top of the penalty box through the table and then hits her little senton,
whatever, off the top.
The top, wiping out all of Metaphor.
It was absolutely beautiful.
It is crazy to think
how far
Tiffany has come in such a short amount of time.
Not even just Tiffany, just the women's division in general.
I mean, yes, but think about where Tiffany was when she came in. Nobody looked at her as anything other than
a pretty face.
Pretty face. This is Malibu Barbie stepping into a wrestling ring. Mm-hmm. And in the year that she's been around, you've seen the significant growth of, all right, she's actually putting in the work. She's actually taking the time to dedicate to her in-ring performance and in-ring improvement, on the mic improvement, really solidify herself as a competitor, as her character.
Yeah, definitely.
I am loving, again, respect where it's due. Mm-hmm. She's kicking ass right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And I know that had nothing really to do with the match, but
I mean, still.
It needed to be said. Yeah. Because I don't think she gets enough love and credit from the fans as is. Mm-hmm. As, she really could, and she has already shown it in the last year. This is somebody you can build a women's division around. This could be the face of a women's division of, your next generation of women superstars coming up in the WWE.
I agree.
You need somebody to... I think she can handle the pressure.
Okay. Take us into our next match.
Lexus King, Carmelo Hayes, in what was a very personal...
Very personal match.
Very personal match.
It was a slow ticking match,
which
isn't what Melo's used to.
It was a slow build throughout the match, which I'm not going to necessarily complain about, actually, because...
I mean, I wouldn't say it was bad, but it did take till close to the end to really start to pick up where Melo is used to.
I like that they really did get to play into both guys' personalities and in-ring style. A lot of references to Lexus King's dad. Mm-hmm. And Booker really did bring it up. I don't necessarily see him, in ring-wise, being the performer.
Yes.
But he's definitely got his dad's attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's got his dad's mannerisms. And I'm just like... And you even called it out, like, wait, they're actually acknowledging Brian Pillman?
Yeah.
Again, not like he really was on ever bad terms. His career just never got to see the light of day because he couldn't... Like, he was trying to work through injuries that he really shouldn't have tried to work through. Like, I understand, I pulled some... I rolled my ankle in the middle of a match. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
To, give me, like... End of the match, give me time to ice or whatever. Like, no, this man was working on, like, a broken leg, a broken arm,
Yes.
This man was straight up, like, not okay. Like, he
there's
was
even
working through...
What is it?
His Dark Side of the Ring
yes.
episode. Like, they talk about, like, this man went through a whole car accident and tried to work a match. Like, respect to you being a performer that wants to get it done, but if you don't take the time to heal, you're never going to...
Heal.
You're never going to be that top guy because you're never going to be able to perform at 100%.
Yeah, no, and then you said he also got addicted to a lot of drugs. Which
a lot of the painkillers, which, again, helped kind of roll him out there. But, and again, we were talking about, earlier, because, something that we had saw on social was like, oh, one wrestler you'd bring back, or you'd revive. And I said him because I would have loved to. I think everybody watching his career through rose-colored glasses to see what it would have become, nobody's ever going to know because...
You never really got to see it in any
Exactly,
way.
he died so early.
Yeah.
But great match, great pacing. Again, I think the slower pacing told a lot of the story that it needed to tell before everything picked up with big spot after big spot.
Yeah, definitely. Because that favors... More of the big spots favors Carmelo.
But I think you have to give him the time to, build to it.
Definitely.
After the match, Melo picked up the win. After the match, you see Lexus King get on the microphone and was like, so I didn't even actually attack him, I just wanted to get into your head.
Thanks for the pay-per-view spotlight.
Right, thanks for the pay-per-view spotlight. By the way, I had nothing to do with Melo, or with Trick getting attacked. I just wanted you to think I did, so I can get my moment in the spotlight. And something his dad would have done.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely something Brian Pillman would have done.
Okay. You're great for this match.
I gave it a B.
A B? Okay.
Again, the slow build wasn't something I was used to. I did feel like even with the slow build, there was a few moments that dragged, but I do think overall it was a good match.
Okay. And then I know you were really excited about our men's Iron Survivor Challenge, so I'm going to let you take us into that one as well. Since I did take 2 back-to-back last night. Alright,
that's fair. I appreciate that. Men's Iron Survivor consisted of Josh Briggs, Braun Breaker, Trick Williams,
Tyler Bate.
Dijak, and Tyler Bate.
There we go.
I was getting their chill.
I was helping.
Starting off the match were Briggs and Dijak. Something we both noticed was these are some big dudes. And then we sat there.
Pointed out, aside from Tyler Bate, everybody is tall and big.
I was gonna say the shortest one is Tyler Bate. He's also the lightest competitor.
Yes.
In this match, but like seeing
just them in the ring, you're like, damn, these men are tall.
Like we were looking and we're like, hold on, Bate really is the smallest dude in here because you were looking because you made the comment as soon as Briggs got in the ring, like, wait a minute, is he really that big? So then you told me, Google their build and 6'6", 6'7", 6'4", 6 even 5'7".
Yep. 5'7", Tyler Bate.
Sir.
But still.
No, this was a really fun match to watch. Real hard hitting about what we expected.
Yes, definitely.
Everybody gunning for that moment to say, this is my time. Briggs, they alluded to it, they referred to Henley falling short in the women's Iron Survivor.
Saying how this is kind of Josh's first time without Brooks, which is his tag team partner.
Right, this is his first real big solo spotlight. Can he do it?
Yeah.
Can he show that, he can compete just as well on the solo circuit as he does on the tag team circuit? Again, Booker was like, yeah, he can't let himself get distracted with the fact that Fallon Henley didn't complete the job.
Mm-hmm. He has to be able to do it on his own. He can't be thinking about that.
He can't be thinking about that. Can't be, hey, can't let the spotlight of the singles competition really get to him. And I think he really did show out.
Yeah, he did fantastic.
Him and Dijak, neither one of them really got the upper hand on each other.
No, they stole the show for the first 5 minutes.
Oh, honestly, that first 5 minutes was there. Even as, the ring started filling up with, with Tyler Bate coming in, who, again, did really well. Mm-hmm. Small guy, but damn it, does he know how to move. He knows how to work a ring.
Yes.
With Breaker coming in, with Trick coming in.
There was still always that rivalry to the two.
Well, because think about it this way. No fall. I think no fall. Breaker comes in.
And gets 3 right off the bat.
Right in the first 40 seconds. Mm-hmm. Bate picked up at that point, I think we had seen Bate with 1 fall, maybe?
I think so. I'm not 100%.
But, Breaker's up 3-1, nothing.
And nothing.
Nothing.
Yep. Because Breaker was the last one to come in.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, I think there was a few falls. I think
Dijak
Briggs had one at that point.
Dijak had one.
Dijak had 1 or 2 at that point, and Bate had 1 at that point.
Yeah. Trick was the only one with 0.
And
once Breaker came in.
Yes, but
that's what surprised you.
3 spears, 3 quick pinfalls, for less than a minute in. I'm thinking, they're giving this to this is Breaker's time to regain that spotlight. Yeah. He's about to look like an absolute beast.
Which is kind of what happened with Grayson Waller last year when he came in last.
He came in hot, lightning in a bottle.
Yep.
I do like that last year they moved the penalty. They had the penalty box a lot closer to the entrance stage.
Yes.
So it took a lot longer to
get there. Yeah.
And now this year it was right next to commentary. Mm-hmm. Boom, right here. It should take 2 seconds to get from here to the box or to the ring. Mm-hmm. Let's go.
But they also said that the timer didn't start
until your feet hit the floor.
Yep, until after you were out.
But that was what it was last year, and then so it took you half the time to get up there, and by the time you got there, you were pretty much coming right back out anyway.
I think it gives them more of a rest when it's by the commentators.
Exactly,
yeah.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that because you're actually the more time you're giving them to rest, the less likely you are to give them. They are to get injured. One of my favorite moments is you had Bate, Dijak, and Briggs all in the penalty box at one point. I think this was
beating the hell out of
right after Breaker came in. Just 1, 2, 3. Those were the 3 pits. And Dijak and Briggs are beating the absolute hell out of each other.
And Tyler's
trying to just climb under them. I have nothing to do with this right now. Leave me alone.
He looked like that one scared middle child when the oldest and the youngest are fighting.
Nah, this ain't got nothing to do with me.
This ain't got nothing to do with me, but Mom's still gonna blame it on me.
I'm still gonna get in trouble. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. One of my favorite moments was the lockup. It was getting closer to the end of the match. There was a lockup between Briggs and Dijak. This was after they had slowly kind of formed a mini alliance because they knew they needed those extra falls.
Yes. Which they did end up getting.
Yes.
Tying. Too.
At that point, it had put Briggs at 2 and then tied Dijak with Breaker and Bate at 3. But coming in, they're in the middle of a lockup. Bates on one side of the ring, crawls under and hits that little ricochet clothesline that he likes to. You know the move I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And then him just hit it. And these two dudes that are 3 of him.
Yeah.
They look like they bench press him. Mm-hmm. With one arm.
Yes.
Just boom. Great execution.
Great match altogether.
Trick Williams coming out of that penalty box and going 4 straight to win the match was absolutely fantastic. He got that last fall within the last 10 seconds. Breaker was in the penalty... No. Was in the penalty... Dijak was in the penalty box.
Dijak
was at that moment. And as his penalty timer hit 0, Trick picked up that last fall...
On Briggs.
With the last, 7 seconds of the match. No, he picked it up on Breaker.
Did he?
He picked it up on Breaker because he went... Because they were going at it. Breaker went spear, and then he hit that, spinning knee.
Yes.
That he usually... To counter it, get the pin, 1, 2, 3.
Time ran out, and
again,
he got
they
that
said
pin.
it on commentary, there was about 7... Within the last 10 seconds, there was 7 seconds left. All Trick needed was 3. Guess what? Number 1 contender for New Year's Evil? Trick Williams. Absolute great booking decision. Greatly executed match.
I want your grade.
Every second of it. Same grade as the women's.
A+. All right. This is actually getting really high grades. I'm glad.
It delivered through and through. No disappointment.
All right. Let's get into our next match. Roxanne Perez takes on Kiana James in a steel cage match. This told a really big story about the animosity that Kiana James has towards Roxanne Perez for becoming NXT Women's Champion, for becoming Tag Team Champion, for being the breakout star, for being pretty much the prodigy that she is. And Kiana James came in the same time that Roxanne Perez has, and she feels that she didn't get the flowers that are due to her.
People kind of... Her whole thing is I feel disrespected because I came in at the same time she did, but she's all anybody's talking about. Well, what about me and the rest of us that came with her?
Mm-hmm. And I do understand that.
Because think about it, that breakout tournament, because I want to make sure.
You look at that, I'm going to continue talking about this match. So you got to see a lot of the steel cage being used between both women. I am surprised, though, because they did announce in the beginning, and the commentators also announced, that with this steel cage, it was only winning via pinfall or submission, when normally with the steel cage, you are also able to escape via the door or climbing over to win the match. So it's strange to me that NXT allows this as a rule for their steel cage match, because it's been every steel cage that I've watched in NXT has been that. Going through this match, obviously the cage was utilized. They used it to kind of help projectile each other off and to do a lot of damage.
Oh, they definitely had a lot of fun with the cage. But alright, looking at the participants to the 2022 NXT Women's Breakout Star.
Yes, tournament.
There is 2 people right now that I have, or one person right now that I have no idea who it is. One of them also competed in this year, with it being Ariana Grace. Mm-hmm. But your participants for that one right now, Nikita Lyons.
Yes, who just came back from injury.
But even prior to that, she wasn't really...
She was kind of building up before the injury.
She was, but she wasn't.
Okay.
Tatum Paxley, who, if you aren't paying attention to NXT, she's another one that's kind of just an afterthought behind Roxanne Perez right now.
Tatum Paxley is one that they've had to rebook, so I'm kind of confused on her sometimes.
Fallon Henley, who up until recently, and up until her... Because think about it, Briggs and Jensen's little manager, basically.
Yes.
Really no other relevance to that. Tag team champions with Kiana James, and then ignored again up until tonight. Up until now. Lash Legend, who again, afterthought really up until recently, up until the forming of Metaphor.
Yes.
Was an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
Sloane Jacobs. Don't ask me who that is, because I'm going to tell you right now.
You don't know.
I have no clue.
Okay.
And Kiana James.
Wasn't Cora Jade also in there?
No. She was already part of the roster.
Okay.
Locked in on the roster before the 2022 tournament. But that's my thing. It's think about think about the names.
Think about the women, yes. I
think about it. Sloane Jacobs is an afterthought. Nobody knows who that is. Ariana Grace participated last year and this year's. Mm-hmm. Still not a lot of notoriety.
She's what, the pageant lady?
Yes. Tatum Paxley, not a lot of notoriety. Nikita Lyons, stunted by injury but even then,
I mean,
nothing
she
major.
was picking up speed.
Nothing major. Everybody else on that list outside of Roxanne kind of, okay, the tournament happened, go sit in catering. Basically.
I mean, personally, I can see why they did kind of put the weight on Roxanne's shoulders, because in that time, you look at who was the youngest at the time holding a title. Paige, who didn't have good blood with WWE at the time, so you try to erase that. And that's, I think, what they were doing. Unfortunate to the other women, that's what they were doing.
My whole thing is you still could have given her the push without ignoring the rest.
I do agree.
And that's where, honestly, going into this feud, I see where Kiana's coming from. Mm-hmm. I really do.
Well, getting into the rest of this, there was a moment where Kiana, towards the end of the match, decided, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore because, again, like they had stated numerous times in commentary, this is something she's not used to, whereas Roxanne Perez can go to that dark place. Kiana James hasn't been there just yet.
She's never been in the steel cage match?
No. She goes to the edge, opens up the door, and ends up grabbing a steel chair to then be used on Roxanne. Never ends up being able to use it. Roxanne takes the steel chair and goes back to the door, and then we see Kiana James's assistant, to which I don't know what her name is. Do you?
I
don't. Okay.
They said it.
So, Kiana James's assistant comes in and ends up hitting Roxanne with the door, causing her to kind of stumble back. Kiana takes the advantage and takes the chair to her knee, thus kind of knocking out Roxanne for the time being. Picking up the win via outside interference was Kiana James. And your grade for this one?
B-. Nope, solid B.
Solid B.
Solid B. Again, it was a great match. I told you, sorry, the ending,
the outside
especially because,
yes.
Who the hell are you?
Yes.
Really kind of killed it for me.
All right. Take us into our main event, and then we are actually all done with our deadline.
Ilja Draganov defends against Baron Corbin. This match went exactly what I expected. I remember you saying, hey, this took me a minute to get into.
It did.
Because it was a slow-paced match.
It was slow-paced in
the
beginning.
Did I not state that on the pre-show, this isn't going to be big, flashy, fast. Like, this was going to be slow-paced and hard-hitting, because that's the style that both of these men thrive in.
Well, even with, hard-hitting, there are still some, big spots. There's still some fast-paced where you can really pick up that momentum with the hard hits. But I think it's because it took so long in the beginning for it to get to those really hard hits, for it to tell its story. That's why it took me a minute to kind of get into.
But I greatly enjoyed it, because each man got their chance to really shine. And it wasn't
taken over by one.
It wasn't like, okay, I'm, one dominating for an extended period of time. Then no, it was a lot of trade back and forth.
Yes.
All right, here's a 45-second pop for
you. Here's one for
Corbin.
Me.
Here's a minute and a half for Ilja, and then we're gonna trade back for another 45 seconds to a minute for Corbin, and they let each guy really showcase their talent.
Yes.
These guys really worked a lot better together and had a lot more in-ring chemistry than I thought they were going to.
I know one of the things you had said while we were watching was this is the best version.
This is the best version of Corbin I think we've had since the Lone Wolf.
Yes.
I think Lone Wolf will forever be my favorite. Mm-hmm. Because I think that was really...
That was really him.
And I think they could have done a lot with that. But this whole burn the ships, reinvent myself kind of thing works.
It does.
So well for him. I do really want to see them put the strap on him at some point in the future, just because I think you really need to re-battle test him again.
I agree.
And see if, he can hold up before, you give him the, hey, come on back up to, like, Raw, SmackDown, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, on the main roster, I said it when he was the Lone Wolf, like, he should be more.
Yes.
They need to be doing more with him.
I totally agree.
They dropped the ball with him. And I think this is the chance for them to correct that wrong.
I agree.
Both men putting on an absolute clinic of a match. Able to go blow for blow, shot for shot. Again, just being able to... This means everything to me.
I hope...
And then, again, this was also another as personal as it got, because a lot of it was them playing into Ilja's real life of...
Yes.
My family is overseas. I'm here trying to provide a life for them, and I don't even get to see them at the end of the day.
And that's what Corbin really played into starting this feud.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I didn't have to leave my family behind to achieve my success. I had them in my corner the entire time. How do you feel about that?
Mm-hmm.
Picking up the win, and still NXT champion, Ilja Draganov. I think both men need to hold their heads high, though.
This was an amazing match.
It was an absolutely amazing match.
Your grade?
Grade for the match was an A.
A. Okay.
Again, I love the closing segment of match is over. Ilja doesn't even get a second to breathe or celebrate because Trick's music hits.
And he comes out.
And he comes out like, yo,
belt.
I'm coming for that belt. Melo following behind him, kind of...
Yep,
giving him that little hype moment was great. Another moment in the show I do want to talk about.
Yes.
Outside of, Dragon Lee wins, you get to see them change the title plate. Rey Mysterio kind of grabs it from the guy, changing the title, or the nameplate.
Yeah.
And presents Dragon Lee with the title. Great show of respect. My whole thing was the Metaphor and Briggs, Jensen, and Fallon moment where they're talking crap back and forth. They're like, oh, looks like neither one of you could get it done. Oh, haha, Lash had one more point than you did, Fallon. And Fallon's clapback of, oh, I missed the part where she won, had me rolling.
I wish that
if I was Briggs, I definitely would have been like, hold on, I actually got a chance in this match. Where were you?
Right.
Where was you?
I totally agree.
I think I would have spit up my drink at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But no, great match, great show.
Your overall grade for the show?
A-.
A-, all right.
A-. I think it was a really solid put together. I think this was the great way to wrap up WWE's PLEs for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to see how they top this going into next year. Especially because, think about it this way. We have Rumble.
Yes.
Then we're in Australia.
Yes.
Then we have Mania.
Mm-hmm.
We have a show in Paris.
Yep.
And we have Bash in Berlin in August.
Yep.
We are getting, first off, the international love right now is amazing. But also just, you are going to get big things out of all of this. Mm-hmm. This really does help benefit
everybody.
All
right.
I think this is probably one of the biggest wins for wrestling fans
ever
since the birth of wrestling.
Agreed. All right, that does conclude NXT Deadline. We will see you guys back for AEW's pay-per-view at the end of the year, and then right after that, we will see you back for NXT's New Year's Evil, which is almost immediately right after.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope you guys enjoyed the show just as much as Brother Pyro did, because we all know he is more enthusiastic about these type of things.
Oh, duh.
And we will see you guys in the next one. Laters.